Girls' Voices and Vision is the theme for this year's International Day of the Girl Child. But beyond the interesting line, what are leaders doing to give expression to the vision and voice of the girl child? This is the next part of our conversation this morning. And joining us on the program to look at the challenges of the girl child and indeed the opportunities of the girl child as we celebrate this year's edition is Mrs. Fumilayo Oyekomi, a girl child advocate who joins us from our Abuja studio. Good morning and welcome to the program. We also have joining us here in Lagos, Alvera Obiri, a child anti-drug campaigner. And there's also a very interesting part of Alvera. Alvera is a disc jockey. Hello, Alvera. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good morning and welcome to the program.
Thank you.
It's good to have you.
I'm
going to start with you, Alvera.
Okay.
You are a disc jockey. And how old are you, by the way?
I'm 14 years old.
You're 14. So how did you develop an interest in disc jockeying and when did you start?
Okay, so I started when I was 6 years old. I naturally love music. So like when my siblings and cousins are watching cartoons and I have access to the remote control, I can change the channel to a music channel. So one day I was watching a music video and I saw DJ Copy and other female DJs. That was when I told my dad that I want to become a DJ also.
So 6, that's a long time ago,
yes.
But you're 14 now.
Yes.
So tell us about the kinds of music that you like to disc jockey with. I hope I got the language correctly.
I love all genres of music, like old school, new school, Afrobeats, Amapiano, Afropiano, I listen and play all genres of music.
So what do you know about the International Day of the Girl Child?
Okay, it's a day to celebrate the female gender. Yeah.
Okay. What do you see to be some of the challenges of the girl child, particularly in school? How are you different from your siblings who are boys and your friends who are boys in school?
Okay. I think the girl child is a very special gender because we are different from other people because some of us are very smart and take right decisions.
Okay. We'll get back to you, Alvera, but let's go to Mrs. Fumilayo Oyekomi now, who joins us from our Abuja studio. Hello again. Beyond the beauty of the theme of this year's celebration, what are some of your reflections on the state of the girl child throughout Nigeria?
Okay, thank you and good morning. So beyond this day, of course, International Day of the Girl Child is to celebrate the girls and mobilize political will to ensure that we are investing in girls' education and treating areas that need to be treated. But beyond this day, it is very important for us to understand the statistics and know where the problem lies. When we look at some of the challenges that girls face, even at this present age, we look at lack of access to basic education, we look at child marriage and some prevalent cultural practices that are still that are still prevalent in some parts of Nigeria. We look at FGM, we look at child marriage, and some of these things just helps us to understand that we need to take further action. Urgent action is needed in terms of how we treat girls and how we prioritize these issues.
Right, and I just wonder, for you having worked in this, in this field, if I can say that, what has been maybe the major challenge? Because speaking with Alvera, it's sort of like, I don't want to say point of contact, just to show that your dreams are valid and you can be what you want to be. She's a DJ, she's 14 years old, and I mean, that's great to see. So we're using her as an inspiration to others out there. But what would you say is the biggest challenge of ensuring that the girl child actualizes her dreams, particularly in this climate?
I think one place that we need to start from is to debunk myths and to debunk the patriarchal system that has been around for ages. So when we help girls to see that beyond being a girl, there is no limitation to what they can achieve, then they begin to see and they begin to dream beyond their immediate environment. Access to information is also very key. For some of the girls that we have dealt with, we understand that some of them don't have access to adequate information. So what we do is democratize access to information. Like currently, our program for this year in Lagos has been able to empower girls in 6 different areas, talking about access to careers in the science, education, engineering, technology, and mathematics field. We talk about access to right tools to begin to build wealth and eliminate the financial dependence that exposes women to gender-based violence. Teaching girls how to take care of their bodies, enforce their rights, teaching girls how to be better in school in order to increase the school retention rates for young girls. Access to the right information helps us and helps girls to see that they can do more, they are more, and they can achieve their dreams.
Right. So let's ask Alvera naturally, now that you talk about dreams. Alvera, being a DJ, I've tried to DJ virtually, right, on the computer, and I know it's really tough because you have to get the BPM.
Yeah,
right.
yes.
You have to ensure that you merge it with the music playing.
Yeah,
and,
synchronize it.
Synchronize it, and you have to know the point just to come in so that the beats will just sync, right? You see how tough it is. I tried and I said, you know what, this is not for me. This is obviously for Alvera. So speak to us about about your dreams. What are your favorite things? I know life can be very serious. Your parents will say, go to school, and then you do assignments. Some of these things build character in you, right? It just helps you learn about life, how to be consistent, disciplined, and all. But what are your dreams? What do you look forward to being, basically? And this is you, by the way, DJing. What event was this?
The drug abuse campaign at Kemibaloku Secondary School.
Wow. When was this?
Last month.
Last month, right. So you get a lot of gigs.
Yes, I do.
All right.
Yeah, and this is an award or laurel that's been presented to you?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about this
by
one
the
also.
United States government.
And this is you with Simi?
Yes.
Beautiful. This moment, how did you feel meeting Simi?
I feel very excited.
Right.
Yes.
And this is you with
Young John.
Young John,
yes.
the wicked producer.
Yes.
How did you feel meeting him as well?
I was very, very happy.
Okay, good. So you've met a lot of stars. This is you and Casey.
Yes.
And
his brother, Imani.
That's his brother, Imani. Yeah. Fantastic. So you are a celebrity.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So
I like that. She says yes.
we'll get an autograph from you. But what is your dream, really? What is that dream that you envision? How big do you see Alvera being?
Okay, my dream is to share my knowledge with other girls, to bring them into the music industry so they can become big like others. So
tell us this. I always ask young people, right? So it's one thing to be young, and then you have expectations. And then you wonder, why don't they understand? I don't know if you feel that way, that why adults should understand. I'm going through my own issues as well. So if you were to speak to adults out there, lots of them, 18, 20, 30, 40 and above, what is that one thing you wish they knew about young people and a young girl child that they seem to maybe not understand about your peculiarities, and you want to take this moment and say, please understand?
Okay, so I want them to understand that they should try giving girls a chance to believe in themselves and do things they want to do the right things. Yeah.
And Alvera, you are an anti-drug campaigner, and we know the dangers of substance abuse in young people, and we know, the challenges that come with that, especially because of the ease of social media and the exposure of social media, how young people pick up certain habits and all of that. And at such a young age, you're taking up a worthy cause. Tell us, first of all, what the inspiration for, this is for you, and what you'd like to tell young people using this platform as an anti-drug campaigner?
Okay, so why I did this campaign was like whenever I'm passing my area, maybe when I'm going to school or somewhere, I usually see young boys smoking weed and taking all sorts of unknown substances, and I usually feel pity for them because they don't know the effect it has to their body. So I took up this campaign to advise my fellow teens that they can do anything without taking any drugs, and they should believe in themselves.
Now, do you believe that as a young person, do you think the government is doing enough to reduce the menace of drug abuse and all other societal ills that you see around you? And in relation to that, we can also talk about enabling the girl child to achieve her dreams. Do you see the government playing its role as it ought to?
Maybe for me, I think the government should create more jobs so that young people can stop going into drugs.
All right. We'll get back to Alvera.
I can't get enough of you. This was you DJing for who?
Benson.
This was you DJing for Benson, right?
Yes.
Fantastic. We'll also come to maybe what plays in your mind, how your routine and all of that. And I see you vibing to the music.
Yes.
DJ V. I can call you DJ V.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to Fumilayo. Fumilayo, so the theme, as we said, girls' vision for the future. And I wonder, listening to DJ V, Vera speaking, I know you're imagining perhaps lots of other girls out there whom you wish had some sort of a chance to dream, to have a vision for the future. So taking off from Bukola's question about the policy from government and other stakeholders, what must we begin to put in place so we can get more from, this pool of potential? We've been clapping with one hand. So imagine we ensure that all girl child or children are able to reach their potential. We'll be clapping with two hands. So what must we do policy-wise and other stakeholders?
Okay, so currently I think I know that there are a lot of policies and a lot of laws that are there to advance the rights of the girl child. We have the Lagos State Plan of Action for Marginalized Girls 2021 to 2025. And we have laws like the Child Rights Act that not all states have enacted, by the way. But beyond these laws, we need to do more of implementation. The problem is usually the implementation aspect. Beyond the laws, we need to mobilize political will and work with different stakeholders to advance the rights of the girl child. And, by the time the government and organizations like like Human and Social Sustainability Network, we are able to work together with the government to implement these policies, to implement these laws, and to protect the rights of children. And, also advance and help them to dream for the future.
Now, for me, we still have very real cultural and religious barriers that are set against young girls, particularly in Nigeria's north. A lot of them are still within the throes of the issues of child marriage and early school dropout. And we have quite a number of girls, sadly, in IDP camps today, who have resorted to all forms of vices just to feed. How far are we away from this era where every girl will be given that opportunity for education to be able to make choices for themselves, particularly those girls within the social construct of Nigeria's north? How many years from now are you projecting that we're going to exit that this time, and then those girls will be empowered?
Okay, so looking at the current situation, and some days ago I was reading the SDD fact sheet for Nigeria, and the statistics for gender equality just helps us to see that we are still a bit far from achieving gender equality and from ensuring that all girls have equal access to opportunities. And talking about projection, let's say that maybe 2050, but I know that organizations are making incredible efforts to empowering girls. We talk about organizations that are focused on foundational literacy, especially for those that have been affected by insurgency and conflict and are subjected to staying in IDP camps. We talk about organizations that even empower girls with life skills, beyond the foundational literacy. So teaching them how to take care of themselves and how to, gain meaningful employment so that they don't have to engage in transactional sex with older men, to feed for themselves and their families. And although there are efforts being made, but we are still far from the mark, and it is necessary for the government and organizations to prioritize investing in education. Organizations need to look at mobilizing part of their CSR budget to empower more girls. For a country like Nigeria that we have over 200 million people, and of these 200 million, more than 24% of this population are adolescent girls between 10 to 19 years. And, if we look at the number and the number of people that are currently empowered, then we know that we have a long way to go. So this is a call. I'm imploring young people, individuals, governments, organizations to look towards investing more in girls' education, in life skills, and empowering girls, even the boys, little acts like teaching boys early to respect women, to fight for them, and not stand by while they are being marginalized or discriminated against. Little acts like that go a long way, because when we look at perpetrators of some of these vices, we see how uh, we see how the mindset of boys or men play a big role in the vices that they create that they do against women.
And that would be a fine place to leave it, reflecting on that important point about how, as we build opportunities for the girl child, we should also be forming and shaping the boy child, because we intend to live a sustainable world for both the boy child and the girl child. But we must anchor at this point.
We need to still get DJ V's intervention, final words, your routine. Pardon me, we have to do that. Your routine, and to every girl out there who's looking at you and saying, I love what DJ V is doing, and I'd like to do something like that. Maybe not DJing, it could be any other thing. What is the toolkit? What is your rule book? What does it look like to at least achieving something at this age?
Okay, I just believe in myself that if I have a dream to do something, I can do it without anybody telling me yes or no. And I don't let anybody discourage me when I want to do something.
Beautiful. So I should just say that International Day of the Boy Child is May the 16th. So we need to start grooming gentlemen, just to say that. And we look forward to that celebration, Bukola.
Thank you for helping us balance things and for reminding us that we should celebrate the boy child too. All right. Alvera Obiri, child anti-drug campaigner and disc jockey. It was such a delight to have you, Alvera. Thank you for coming on. And we wish you the very best in your continuing and future pursuits. And we want to thank you very much as well for Milayo Oyekomi, girl child advocate, who joined us from our Abuja studio. And so we'll take a break now. When we return, we will be looking at the opportunities and the excitement that the big screens give us. And one of those responsible for that excitement joins us on this in our Lagos studio now. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Okay, the man is a man of many parts, okay? That part you saw is a part from the past. So what we'll do this morning is merge the past with the future, or with the present, and look to the future. We're joined on the program. Well, it was Igho then. Now is Peter Igho's son, Tosin Igho. Is a movie producer, film producer, and writer, sound designer. Good morning and welcome to the morning break.
Yeah, good morning. I'm grateful to be here.
You know what just happened, right?
What?
I was going to introduce you as Peter Igho.
Okay.
And the rest, you're his son.
No, you would be wrong. I'm junior.
Yeah, and I know you get that a lot.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
You step into a room, you say your name, and you're like, you're
Are
his
you
son,
not,
right?
Are you not
And I know you've talked about how first your work speaks for you,
Yes.
and then your father's name just breaks the door for you, literally. But let's really talk about first your journey. Because a lot of people know that song, they remember that video.
Yeah, a lot of people remember that.
Right, so they still have a mental picture that this guy is still doing music.
Okay, no.
But they've probably seen your movies and they didn't even know that it's the same Igho that was rapping then that is now responsible for this movie. So if you can just give us an abridged version of your journey from rapper, singer to who you are now.
Yes, I began the journey as a music producer. I was making beats for music. Then I now graduated into being a musician. I had my first group called Immaculate when we were like 17.
What?
Yes. Then in that process, I directed a music video that got onto Channel O at that point in time, which then now struck another chord. So while I was making music, I then went to film school. Yes.
You're very restless.
Yeah, very restless. And then in that process, I now started making music videos. So things like Booty Call from Mohits, back when Mavins was Mohits.
Yeah.
Booty Call by Face, Too Much Jimmy Jat, Terry G, David. I shot a lot of music videos from South Africa at that point in time before I then moved back and then started, I did this music that you saw here in like 2007 or 2008. So all these things I'm saying are from like 2000.
Wow.
Till then, from 2019, I made my first film, which was called Seven.
Was it a short film?
No, it was a full.
Okay, but you had done some short films.
Yeah, I'd done a couple of short films before I made the first film. I did a short film that did some buzz online.
Right.
And then I did my first feature film in 2019 that was nominated for 7 AMVCs on 2020, the COVID one. Yes.
You won how many?
We won two, but we're nominated 7 times.
Yes.
At the 7th AMVC. Then I've gone on to executive produce things like Judging Matters.
Yes.
I Am Lakon's reality show. That's I Am Lakon. Love Comeback. I've done 2 telenovelas, which is Venge, 260 episodes, and I just wrapped up another telenovela called Dust.
Ooh.
Yes, and then I also have an Amazon Prime original movie coming in November.
Amazing CV. And, I followed you on Instagram just for a bit and saw just how passionate you are about, the directorial business itself. You practically soak up, approaches to lighting and all of that. And we could say that the fruit does not fall far from the tree.
Yes.
So would you say that you inherited this strong instincts, for production from your dad? And, what was it like just watching him as you grew up?
I mean, like I said, it was always amazing because my high school was right next to NTA. So they kept me close.
Oh, really?
So at closing time, I'll just walk into NTA and I'd walk through the studios and disturb a lot of people. And, so you would see most of those veterans that were back then, I saw them and sat next to them from Sadiq Daba. Sadiq Daba was actually in my movie before he passed. So at least I got a chance to, for him to put me on his lap and eventually direct a scene, So, I mean, I sat down with all these veterans, had conversations with them, saw my dad work. And I mean, I was one of those kids where I used to steal the camera and go and record myself doing 1 or 2 things. So it was always just like an unknown interest. I didn't see it as, this is what I was going to do, but I was always just doing it, so I didn't have time to go in another direction. I just kind of fell here. I started making music. I started doing this, then I started making music videos, and I realized, I actually have a knack for this. I love this more, And then from there, now I started making short films. I made a few music videos that were film-like, and then then I made a short film, and then everybody is extremely impressed. Like, Tosin, you make this? Come and sit down here. Come and sit down. Are you not going to think about making a film? And I say, yeah, okay. I just wrote this short film, and so then eventually I write a film, and then it wins Jonathan. So it's like, okay, there is some talent for this, and it's working. Then I start producing other forms of content, and they're now successful. So okay, this is and then it's a process of then understanding. Okay, my father told amazing stories in his time, and it seems like it's inherited. I can't tell great stories, and I want to tell amazing stories, and I want to tell more stories, and I have a lot of stories that I want to tell. So we're kind of wanting to focus on making a number of films in a period.
So at the 7th AMVCA,
yes,
your film Seven was nominated 7 times, and your dad got a lifetime
award. Yes.
Did you see it coming? Did both of you see it coming?
Nobody saw any of that coming. So it was wonderful. Both of us got on stage. I mean, it's one of the things, at least, if whatever happens in the future, I always have that memory of, me and my dad winning awards for filmmaking. I wonder how he feels about it. Ask him.
I know a lot of people. So your story is quite rich. We can basically make parts from your story. It talk about your origin story, you going to NTA, learning from your dad, then you starting to learn on your own, you going into music, you going to film school, now you're doing this. There's a lot. Maybe you can think of writing a movie about yourself eventually.
The journey is still long.
It's still long, I know. But speak to us about the industry itself. I know you're versatile. And I can count a lot of things you do just by reading about you, not just music. You edit.
Yes, I edit.
As well.
I edit, I shoot. I kind of do in every field, apart from makeup.
What about acting?
No, I do that. I mean, I do try, and I try and see if I'm like in this film I did a role, but eventually I cut it out.
Why?
Yeah,
we would love to see that. We won't show anybody.
Yeah, we won't show anybody. I was a car salesman. I sold the car. So,
okay, fantastic. Now, the point I'm trying to make is having tasted, or at least you're versatile enough, you understand all of these roles. There's something it does to you. You're able to envision the industry in a different sense, and maybe see the different value chains and say, hey, this can make us more money because we're like crude oil. Right? We're being explored. I don't want to say exploited, right? So companies come, they explore crude oil, refine, sell it back to us. So we want to look for a way to be able to develop this industry such that we can stand on our own and even start exploring other industries. Ghana, for example. I hope Ghanaians won't come for me. So having looked at all of these sectors, what are the value chains, the values that we're missing out in these areas that we can begin to leverage?
Okay, so this is what I would say 100%. And I think it would kind of explain or give you clarity on what you're saying. The Nigerian industry, I think this is what's missing. It is like when you start something at SS1 and you skip primary school. So I feel because of the knowledge that I've gathered, I think that is one thing that is with the industry. It's at an advanced stage without the primary school. What I mean is that
we leapfrogged.
Yeah, we leaped. No, I mean like we went from at a point when, let's say, example, when NTA was involved, it was picking up to a point where they were producing content, producers were being enforced, which is the first key place. Things were moving slowly. Then there's a point where it kind of just stopped, and then films just went to DVD, and that from that process it just went to sales. It wasn't the case of the content itself. It was just because that the generic story was just so powerful that the technicals or anything that was needed for properties, anything that involved an industry didn't matter. We just went to a market and started, do you understand? So it wasn't a case where we were like, okay, education, infrastructure, the business, whatever the case, it just went to market. And people just started taking from the market. So, and it was a case of, since we're already at the market, why are we going to fall back and make sure we are an industry? Do you understand what I'm saying? And I think that's still the problem that has always come across. The film industry it's an industry that's missing the industry. So there's no place you can go and say, oh, this is the history of the industry. This is what's happened. This is how it's supposed to be. This is what is supposed to happen from A to Z. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then, but right now it's not a case of, okay, we are now dealing with, as a filmmaker, as a producer, your method of making money changes regularly because there's no serious issue. So let's say you go to the cinema, and then before the cinemas were a thing, people didn't even know what to do.
Right.
And then now the online platforms came, and it was the case, okay, I don't need to go to cinema, I go to the online platforms. And then 2 years later, a few other platforms have left. So now you're okay, you need to figure it out again. So you're always adapting. Always adapting and always, watching. Because if you wanted to be a filmmaker today, in Nigeria, your best idea is to just go and make a film. Do you understand? Instead of thinking of, okay, There's no place to go to understand what business, industry, understand factors. You just go and make a film. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So in order to preserve all of that potential and the accompanying revenue from that potential, from our stories that Cardi often calls our crude oil,
Yes.
Should we be looking more at patronizing and leaving our stories in the cinemas? Because we hear more often than not that the streaming platforms, they oftentimes pay off the movie producers, the executive producers, and the directors. But our intellectual property is sort of in their hands.
That's the thing about it now. And most of these places are not actually, let me say, they're not Nigerian owned. So these things are leaving and they're gone. So I mean, I can tell you, I'm a victim of it. There's some things I've created that you don't be like, okay, at some point you then have to reach a position where you can stand by, no, I'm not giving away my intellectual property, but you have to reach a point in your career where you can stand back and say no. But because that's a difficult situation, it's a difficult situation because no international platform or TV is going to say, okay, we're going to give you. So if you are pitching something, it's going. That's, this is gone. This is, do you understand what I'm saying? Which is sad, but do you understand what I'm saying? So the idea is that the country itself needs to support the filmmakers because the Nollywood is, do you understand, is like the third biggest worldwide. There's a demand for it. There's a demand for our stories with us. There's a demand for our stories internationally. There's a demand for it. And because there's a demand for it, it means jobs can be made, and money can be made. I mean, just the idea of a huge film school. I remember I've gone to presentations where you are helping the school cover whatever the case, and the students are running to your section. How do we get to? But I mean, no, you're supposed to go to Shell. No, we want to. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, because they see it. It means, I mean, look at how many music videos are made daily. Look how many commercials are made daily that are done by other countries. But here, because those people who are paying for it are like, okay, we need this standard. And now that standard, they're only few because it takes so much experience to get to that place. But if you go to a country like South Africa, education is, you learn it down, do you understand? So everybody knows what they need to do. But here, even if you want to become a great writer or a great cinematographer, which is a very technical point, it was almost like French because the information is not just accessible. You can go to YouTube, but there's a difference in YouTube and me telling you, this is what I've learned, these are the tricks, what I've tested. So you see, like sometimes when I try and do one of those tutorials and things, there are a lot of people who reach out to me and say, how do we, we want to do this, we want to make this, but they're not sure.
I know we have a few film schools. People have tried to, do some things. Some of them doing well, actually, even having people from outside saying, I want to be a part of this. But you make a vital point, really. We keep saying we have an industry, but, the industry, I wonder the foundation that it's standing on, right? And it's that foundation that really matters, right? Because the edifice can go, but once you have a foundation, you can always build and rebuild and retool. So it's a very important point you make. And I'm hoping that we can pause and say, let us build that foundation. Even if we're not going to reap the benefits today, in the coming decades, would at least say that we were able to do something. But I'm still very particular about the work you are doing, because we do magic. It's almost like we do magic in spite of all of this. We're still third biggest, so imagine if we had the structure. So in terms of the work you're doing now, what is your hack? Because I think I read one of your interviews, I said it can be mathematical.
Yes.
Or methodical. There's like a formula for it.
Yes.
So A plus B equals to blockbuster. What is the A plus B?
when you say some in terms of, when I say it can be mathematical, what I mean is that if you have a proper understanding of each discipline, because you have to understand that it's a medium. What I mean is a medium. It's like, for instance, if I wanted to tell a story with a picture, I need to understand how to paint. I need to understand what colors mean. I need to understand what blue does to emotionally and what red does, and what a Picasso, the reason why it looks, the reason why they painted the way they painted is because he has a clear understanding of this image, what's in the background, because he understands what the paintbrush does, what the back. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you understand what the camera is doing, you understand what sound is doing. And this is why it has helped me in that form. If I understand what sound is doing, understand what lighting is doing, if I know I have someone's face in shadow, I know what it does to an audience. If I know he reads the line in a particular way, I know what it does to an audience. If I know what sounds I'm employing in that scene, music-wise, whatever, I know that's what the person perceiving is going to feel. So, because our job is to evict emotion.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you know these things, and what I advise people is, if you go and shoot something today, this one has helped. If you shoot something and it works, remember and write it down. This is what I did. If you shoot and it doesn't work, remember and write it down that it doesn't work. So you know, and you start piecing together the exact tools to evict the emotion you need. So when you are writing a story or writing a scene, there are certain things that you would do to evict whatever emotion or whatever feeling or whatever you need to convey. So it becomes mathematical, because if you then employ, I need this scene to be aggressive. If you employ what makes a scene aggressive with lighting, writing, sound, editing, and the camera, then you will have an aggressive scene. Do you understand what I'm saying? But if you don't employ those things, it won't work. If I need it to be emotional, okay, I know this works for emotions, this works for emotion. And I play it across all disciplines, because like I said, it's a medium. It's a medium that I'm using to tell you a story. So if I do not understand the medium, I can't tell you exactly what I need to tell you.
Fantastic.
Do you understand?
Really, you should be the provost of a film academy.
With the durag, you look good.
In 1 minute, 60 seconds, tell us about your latest work.
Okay, so Suspicion is a crime thriller, a supernatural crime thriller. It's basically different from most of the stuff you've seen before. It stars RMD, Staninze, Omami Dada, Tina Mba, Uzo Arukwe, was Ashafat as well. It's an Amazon original. It's going to be released in November. I think the trailer is coming soon, and I'm hoping everybody's going to enjoy the film and, you know, kind of see my style of filmmaking as well. If you liked Seven, you would love this film.
The incoming provost.
Yes.
You're working with your dad as well on something.
Yes, I'm working with my dad on something.
So
yes.
When is that coming out? How is it working with your dad?
I mean, you just say, see the idea, and then you wait and hope he says, oh, I like it, or whatever the case. So yes, we've been working, but this will be working for a while. So right after this, I think we're going to get it. So the idea is that we're going to bring back one of his old shows called Kokoradon. Yes.
Amazing. We're looking forward to it already.
Definitely. Tosin Igho, thank you so much for your time
you guys
and for the insights.
Yes.
I think that's been very enlightening, and I'm excited at what the future holds, if we all at least do this work together. Tosin Igho, movie producer, film producer, writer, sound designer, editor, camera handler, lighting, music producer, rapper, son of a legendary Peter Igho. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.